All right, so we're gonna want to re-enable the canvas because we're going to be using that for the networking. So I can start by re-enabling that. And we're going to spawn the player from the network manager. So we can go ahead and remove the player. Just want to make sure that that stuff is applied. So I'll click apply and then delete it. Save the scene. We're going to open up the asset store. I'll go ahead and wait for it to load. Let's just do this. So there it is. So you're going to want to download it and then import it into your scene. Just going to grab everything. Click all and then click import. Alright, so you should have this folder now. We're going to go into prefabs and click and drag the socket IO prefab to our scene. And we're going to make some changes here. So the first change we're going to make is we're running on port 3000. So we're going to change that to 3000 and then click save. When you deploy this game, you're going to want to point it to your host where you're hosting the server from. So for now, we're just doing it all locally. So we'll leave that as the localhost IP. So we're just going to connect right away. You probably won't want to do that if you're making a game. Like if you have single player and multiplayer, you probably want to connect later on, but we're just going to keep things simple and connect right away. So let's switch back to the network manager and re-add this. So it should find it. I'll just see if I'm getting an error or anything. Yeah, you're here. I don't know why you can't find that. Just needed to include it. I'm gonna link the stuff up. Yeah, so our canvas is gonna be the join game canvas. Player name input. And we're gonna wanna put a player prefab. We're actually gonna spawn it from the network manager. I can close this. There we go. and that's looking pretty good. So I'll switch back over here. So we can start filling out the rest of this script as well. We can put in the messages that we're going to be listening for and start. So I'll just put a comment here saying subscribe to all the various WebSocket events. Um, I'm going to have to look at this so I can remember what all of them are called. So we had, let me do this. Okay. Let me maximize this one. So we had emit for enemies somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, so we need that one, and let's keep going. Socket dot on. I think we call this other player connected. I'll just copy and paste it so I don't make any typos. On other player connected. And we'll make these functions in a bit. Yeah, I just called this play, I think. Emit play. Or just make sure. So next we had player turn. Player shoot. Health. I think I just look at disconnect. So I called it other player disconnected on other player disconnect. So let's create these functions now. we're going to put those in commands. Or listeners. Sorry. So let me minimize commands. And we'll be doing listeners now. So these will all be voids that take in a socket IO event. I'll just leave them empty for now. We can code those in a sec. So need to give it a name. Let's call it that. And I'm just going to duplicate for all of them. So play, player move, player turn, player shoot, health, disconnect. Health. And on player disconnect. Alright, this should pick it up. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, do not want those. Okay, so that should work. I'm gonna minimize these, and let's work on the method we have here for connect to server. Okay, so we're gonna put in a little bit of pause here just to make sure that our socket is connected okay. So we're going to do emit and then another yield return. I'm going to wait and make sure that that one finishes before we continue to the next part. So we want to do the, this is not spelled correctly. Make sure I fix that. Yeah, so we do, I might have missed something. Let me just, yeah, I made a mistake over here. So I did a console log, but I didn't actually make the message. So I'm gonna call this play. I could call it like player joined game, but I don't know. Let's call it this. Current player, and that's pretty much what we want to do there. So that's what we're doing over here. So that was gonna be the first thing we wanted to do was the player connect. So that'll add that client. basically, and then string player name equals player name input. So that's going to be that input that will fill in the player on that form, on that canvas. List of spawn point, player spawn points. Player spawner, player spawn points. So we have our player spawn points and we have our enemy spawn points, both of which will be initialized over here, not on the server. Okay, so we're creating our JSON class that we're going to send at this point, and we're going to turn it into a string, serialize it. We're going to be using the JSON utility to JSON. So we're going to send this to the server. We're going to tell it play. So that's basically going to register on this callback over here. We're going to pass in the data in the next parameter. So new JSON object. This JSON object is a class that is used for this library. That's what it uses to get it to work. And then we're just going to turn off that that canvas so that we are in the game. Okay, so it's not going to do too much because we don't have our code for creating the players and the enemy from the on play. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So let's see. Going to want to go to our listeners and code that stuff. So I'll switch back to on player connected. So I guess we can socket IO event data to string. So here we're gonna instantiate the player and set all the fields that need to be set. So I'm just gonna grab all the stuff out needed for the player and parse it from the JSON objects. Sorry, it's dot position 0. So we're gonna need our X, Y, and Z there. They're gonna do pretty similarly over here, but we'll do rotation instead. Next, we're gonna see if it's already there, in which case we don't do anything. Otherwise, we're gonna create it. Oh, player. So we have our player prefab, our position, and our rotation needed. As game object. So here we are setting up their other fields, name, and if they are local, and health, but yeah. So player controller PC equals p dot get component player controller. Transform t equals p dot transform dot find. We're gonna look for the health bar canvas. Transform t1. This is our other transform that we're looking for. T dot transform dot find player name. We also need to set the health. Health h equals p dot get component health h dot current health equals user JSON dot health change health. Okay, so that's what we need to do there, and then we'll also do on user play real quick. So we'll print you joined string data equals socket IO event dot data dot to string. Create from JSON data. We're gonna do similar stuff to what we did over here, so I'm just gonna copy that. So yeah, so I'm gonna want to copy this here for that. And let's see, I'm gonna want to change this to that. Basically. And I think I can probably copy this other stuff too, so I'll go ahead and grab that. So we need, one second. Yeah, this is, I'll just grab all this stuff here. Call this P. Player controller, health bar canvas, player name. We're calling that this time. Okay. So I think that's a good place to stop for now, and then we'll test it out in Unity in the next video and keep going.